Now it's time to introduce our presenter for the day, Kamini Taneja.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming, and I can see your comments in the chat. So very good afternoon from different parts of the country, wherever you joined. Thank you.
Kamini is an academic manager based in West India and has worked for British Council for more than 15 years. Kamini has extensive teaching and training experience and has worked in India and overseas. Kamini has a Cambridge diploma in teaching English to speakers of other languages, which is Delta, a master's in leadership and management from Open University UK, and has been a CELTA tutor. Kamini is particularly interested in assessment and blended modes of learning. Thank you so much. Enjoy the session today. Over to you, Kamini.
Thank you. Just one sec. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, once again. And today, as my colleague Emily said, we are going to discuss some global issues and how we can bring them to our classroom. So the name of the session is Integrating Global Issues in the Creative English Classroom. So the session today, by the end of it, you will be more aware of SDGs or Sustainable Development Goals by watching a short video. You will also experience a demonstration lesson that integrates one of the SDGs. Becky, I've lost the presentation. I'm going to start again. Yeah.
Okay, we can still see it, but if you want to reshare, that's fine.
Yeah. Because it just disappeared.
That's fine. We can see it again now. It's on the title slide.
Okay. Title slide, yeah? Okay, thanks. Okay, so you will become more aware of the SDGs. You'll also experience a demonstration lesson which integrates one of the SDGs. And I would like you later to tell me which SDG will be demonstrated in the lesson. You will also be able to contribute to a discussion on gender stereotypes that exist in your environment. And then we do a bit of reflection and how we can take all of these things to our classroom. At the end, you will have access to numerous lesson plans related to these SDGs and how you can integrate this in your English classroom. And right at the end, we'll discuss some challenges that you might face while doing this. And after that, when we close the session, there'll be an opportunity for you to ask any questions. So here we go. The flow of the session, how will it work? First, we discuss what are the SDGs. There's a video watch with a task. After that, SDGs in the classroom, what can we do as English teachers, a demonstration lesson, follow-up discussion, resources you can use, and some challenges that you might face. Okay, so what are SDGs? I know you know it, but I still want to ask you. So could you type in the chat box, what are SDGs? And if you know any of the SDGs, that'll be great. So let's hear it from you in the chat, please. Anyone? We've talked about, yes, Swati T, Sustainable Development Goals. Rajeshri Biswas, thank you. Nandita, thank you. So that, yeah, that's an easy one. The global goals. When they are global, why are they global? We talk about that. Okay, 17 in all. Very nice. Can anyone list any of the SDGs? There are 17 of them. Yes, Amreen, life below water, life on land, certainly. Any other that come to your mind? No, poverty, absolutely. All right, so we'll find out more. Thank you so much. So somebody said gender equality as well. So somebody said they are global goals. Anubhav says energy education. True. Um, so they are important, and there's certainly more than one. If there's 17 or not, we'll figure out. Why are they important? Because there is a 2030 agenda for sustainable development by all United Nations member states. So the world has come together to you know make this goal global, as you said. And there's a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet now, for the planet the way it is now, and for the future. And there's an urgent call, and I'm sure you're reading a lot about it in the papers these days. What is it that we need to do, and do we need to do it now, or can we can we wait? In fact, there was a big article in the Sunday Times of India I read. So SDGs focus on ending poverty and other deprivations with strategies that improve health and education, reduce inequality, spur economic growth while tackling climate change. So all of you, when you're talking about land, life below water, on land, is all about it's all about climate change. And when you say, Pradanya, when you say global peace, the peace can be achieved with prosperity and reduced inequality. So all of this together makes for sustainable development goals. Okay, so now we are going to watch a little video, and you need to answer certain questions. There are 3 statements, and you have to watch the video and mark these statements true or false. So can I request Payal, if you could post these questions in the chat, please?
Surely, Kamini.
Thank you. Also, I am aware that some of you will be, will have logged in from the session for the session with your mobile phone. So it is possible that you may not be able to see the video. So in that case, I'll play the video, but we'll also post the link for the video in the chat in case you can't see it on your mobile or on your laptop. If there's any difficulty, you can click on the link and watch it. So Payal, if we can have the link for the video as well, that'll be great. Thank you. There you are. So there's the video link. So I'm going to start the video. Now, I hope you have the questions at hand. There are 3 statements. What do you need to do when you watch this? Watch the video? Do you have to say yes or no? Do you have to say true or false? Do you have to do gap fills? What do you need to do? Can somebody type in the chat, please, while you watch the video? What do you need to do with the 3 statements? Payal, if you can post the true or false. Yes, Swati. If you can keep posting, post the statements a couple of times more, because the chat scrolls up and maybe people may not have got it. So if you could do that. Thank you. All right, let's start. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for writing your responses. But I could also see that a lot of uh, 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 you couldn't watch the video. So I could summarize it for you. But before that, I also want to know that there were 3 from you, from the audience. Let's see how carefully people were listening. So you got the answers, false, true, false. We'll talk about that in a minute. But which sustainable development goals were mentioned in the video? You can give me the number or you can give me the name. Can you do that? No, there are total 17. Yes, Bhupendra says 4, somebody says 2. Any other? There were 3 of them. And okay, well done. All right, so I'll just quickly tell you the summary of the video in case people were not able to watch it. So in the video it talks about the world leaders agreed on 17 sustainable development goals to end poverty, fight inequality and injustice, and tackle climate change by 2030. But the video asks the question that how are these goals connected to English language teaching? So the publication, which is our publication on integrating global issues in the creative language classroom, demonstrate how English language teachers or professionals like you can help their students play an active part in reaching these SDGs. So they mention a lot of practical and innovative teaching ideas in the classroom, and there are 22 chapters in this publication to teach young learners, teenagers and adults at all language levels. And you can learn the language creatively at the same time learn about these 17 SDGs. So it explored SDG 2 in a lesson plan, which was all about ending hunger, achieving food security and improved nutrition, and promoting sustainability, where students learn about problems surrounding food, access to food, division of wealth and control. And the lesson plan engages them by doing varied tasks where they understand problems about food, processes of food, research food issues. They could write a newspaper front page or do a poster. And while doing all this, develop confidence in pronunciation skills, grammar and spelling. And it is believed that the classroom can be a place where learners stop to think about their food, problems, and most sustainable choices. Chapter 5 of the publication, which explores SDG 4, which is about ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning. I'm sure you'll agree this is really important, as around 55 million children around the world can't go to school. And the video talks about the challenges children with disabilities particularly experience, and there are tasks around this so that students are more aware of disabilities that people have. So they research about disabilities and how they would cope with a disability, write a poem, maybe record a video, things like that. And the last one was SDG 10, which is about reducing inequalities within and among countries. So teachers alone cannot solve all the inequalities in the world, but they can and will make a difference. And I'm sure you'll resonate with that. And one of the biggest inequalities in the world is use of technology and internet. So the lesson idea is on using the web and smartphones, while some people don't get to use the web and smartphones, and then thinking about inequality in wealth and personal freedom. So hopefully this introduction to the publication gives you some imaginative ideas to take this to your classroom, and we'll post the link to the publication file if you can do that now and maybe towards the end as well. That's okay. All right, so a lot of you said false, true, false. So let's check. Yes, there are 17 sustainable development goals and not 20. English teachers can help students achieve these. Absolutely yes. Is it difficult to to integrate these issues in the classroom? Absolutely not. How? We'll tell you right now as we go into a demonstration lesson. So thank you everyone very much, everyone's, for sharing your responses. Some of you got the last one. Say true, it is difficult, and no, it's not. And we are going to demonstrate right now why it is not difficult. Okay, so before that, how can we integrate these global issues in the classroom and empower our students to achieve these? What are your ideas? What do you think we can do in the classroom? Becky, can we unmute people? Maybe a couple of them could respond. Is that okay?
That's fine, we can do that.
Yes. So I mean,
Camille, first we'll need to enable the microphone. So I'm going to do that now then, and then when you give the signal, people can raise their hand and then they can unmute themselves.
So, but I won't know who raised, so if you could check that out. Okay. Sorry.
I will read names and ask them to...
Sure, thank you. All right, okay, so you can unmute yourself and tell us what kind of activities can you do. So for example, the issue is climate change, and you need to, teach something about it to grade 3, 4, or 5. What kind of activity do you do in the class? So telling them about gender equality, Rupali, yes, but how? That's the question. What activities? You will not walk into a class and say, okay, today I'm going to tell you about gender equality. No. So what activities would you do? Group discussion. Yes, Gurmeet, that's a good one. Nandita, if you can unmute and tell us.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I'd just like to share a unit that we'd worked on, which was on the body systems. And one of the things which I picked up right now was a beautiful integration which we could have done would be on good health and well-being, because that would have flown naturally. So what I'm picking up from here is, rather than keeping the content first and then the SDG, which is what we've done, what we can do is we can keep the SDG first and then have the content flow. So children explore the problem first and then they learn about the body systems, and probably that could connect.
Yeah, and also looking for windows of opportunity in your textbook. There are lots of opportunities you will find that you could bring to the class in the textbook, which you could utilize, capitalize on. Babita, tell us, what's your idea? Role plays, yes. Discussions, yes. Benefits of plantation, yes. Babita, go on. Babita, you raised your hand. Babita Rani, maybe you can't speak. Yes.
I'm Garima Shukla. Right now, though I'm a teacher of kindergarten, but still we are doing SDG class. Yes, we are doing SDG in the class. And since the kids are very small, so the first goal what we have taken, that is health and well-being. First, we explained SDG first, and then we did the activity related to the age group. Like we explained why the health is so important, because if we are healthy, then only the planet, the earth, the entire thing you will be able to do, and the entire planet would be happy. So we gave activities with the activities according to the age group, like we went to the rainbow platter. The rainbow platter was basically that it was as many colors as you have platter, the more healthy it will be and more nutritious it will be. So the children made healthy platters and they understood why the colors are important in their diet. So in a simple way, we introduce the activity that health and well-being is very important for your to attain one of the goals of SDG. And secondly, we said that each one feed one. So this was a small little activity for the small kids, and they made a platter and they served one. This is, we said, okay, it's not only for a one-day activity, but it should be followed several times. Throughout the curriculum, throughout their life, so that if one person take the responsibility of the other one, if they try to feed the other people, the earth would be a planet would be a better place.
Sure. Okay. And in the process, while we do all this, it enhances, because within all this, you know, SDGs, integrated aim of SDGs, the learning aims of for the students, which is developing speaking skills, discussion skills, role play, all that you are saying, critical thinking skills on the whole are developed. So a lot of people said false to integrating, you know, it is difficult to bring these issues to the classroom. It's not, absolutely not. It's just that we need to plan a little differently, be more mindful of how we can bring these topics into our classroom. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so we move on. So we start with a demonstration lesson. It's called She's a Policeman. You see certain pictures, 6 of them on your screen. Can you name these jobs, please? Easy enough? Easy enough? Can you type in the chat box? What are these jobs? No, type in the chat box, please. Thank you. Yes. Okay, only one. People can only guess one. There are 6 of them. Okay, cool. I can see lots of right. So let's check. So the first one is a chef. It's a painter or an artist, that's fine. A businessman, a doctor, a judge, and a policeman. There's no fireman. I'm sorry, there's no fireman. All right, okay, so these are some jobs, easy. Now, you see certain job titles on your screen. Policeman, salesman, fireman, postman, waiter, chairman, and a businessman. What I'd like you to do is, I would like you to change these job titles so that they're apt for women too. Make sure you do not attach gender to the role. So when I say policeman, it's a man. I'm attaching gender to the role. So come on, let's see what you can come up with. Okay, Bhavna Gupta. If this is the Bhavna Gupta I know, then well done. Policeman, Ganesh, policeman is a man. But if it's a woman, would you call her a policeman? That's the question. Teacher is not on the list. The one's on the list on the screen. Okay, cool. Right, so let's see. Let's see. Police officer, sales representative, firefighter, fire worker, that's fine. Or police officer, yeah. A waiter could be a server. I think waiter is used for both men and women. Becky, correct me if I'm wrong. Am I right?
Yep, good.
Okay, and a chairperson and a business executive. Waitress for a woman. An actress is for a woman. So a woman and a man both could be an actor, and then it becomes a neutral job title and doesn't remain a sexist job title. Yeah, so on the left is you see this job titles, on the right neutral job titles, and some gender neutral titles you've already mentioned. An entrepreneur is a neutral job title. So a postman could be a postal worker. Yeah, okay, and some neutral job titles include a pilot, a nurse, a teacher, a secretary. Yeah, okay. Now, do you think you can do that activity with your students? Easy? This one that we just did, identifying certain jobs. And I think you could do it with classes 4, 5, 6, maybe middle school or even younger, maybe grade 3 as well. Yeah, so it's not difficult. That's the point I'm trying to make. Moving on, I'd like some people to unmute and contribute, but we'll have to go about it in a methodical fashion. So the question for you is, why do men figure more as doctors and pilots, and why do women figure more as nurses and secretaries? Why do you think that? So when we think of a doctor, when you say a doctor, do you think of a man or a woman? When you think of a pilot, do you think of a man or a woman? When you think of a nurse, you think of a man or a woman? Anybody? Why is that?
We've got a few hands up, Kamini. Shall we start? Aruna, Dr. Aruna, do you want to unmute yourself?
This is basically the gender inequality which is coming inherent from ages and ages. That girls and women are for some delicate job, and the boys or the men are for some other job which only they can do. This is basically the inherent thing which is coming from ages, and this we have to move.
And also the access to opportunities. So a woman may not get to be a pilot because the family thinks that's not the job for her. A good job for her would be being a teacher, because at home these decisions are made. So if a family has a boy and a girl, do you think it comes into play?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Any other ideas?
And
Ma'am, I also think that.
So can I ask Vishnu to unmute and speak?
Yeah. Yeah.
Vishnu Nuna, you've got your hand up. If you can unmute yourself, you can speak.
1 second. Om Prakash, 1 second. I can't let this go. Om Prakash says women are more sensitive and taking care of patients. Om Prakash, my question for you is, do you think men are not sensitive, and is that only your perception, or have you deliberately written a controversial comment which I couldn't let go? So something to think about. Yes.
Okay, I think Vishnu is having trouble unmuting, so let's go to Lamia. Lamia, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hello.
Oh, okay. Vishnu, go ahead. Vishnu, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Vishnu, sir, high school English teacher in Telangana state of India. Yeah, regarding this particular question, why do men figure more the doctors or pilots? All the teachers nationwide, according to NEP 2020. So we were asked to complete a module on gender integration. So how can we integrate gender at school level? So we were asked to identify the difference between social phenomena and genetical phenomena. And some of the questions were given whether they are determined as socially branded or genetically problematic. So most of the questions were raised due to socially branded questions. And according to these particular question, doctors and pilots, socially they are branded, they are separated, allotted for men, and nurses and secretaries are, these are all these assumptions are just socially they are branded, ma'am.
Yes, but who has decided? Who has made these social norms and perceptions? It's us. It's our society.
Society.
It's our society. Yeah.
Not
and okay. Do you think they change? Can you please mute yourself, Vishnu? Yeah. And do you think these perceptions change over time? I'm sure you will agree that some 30 years ago, I mean, your grandparents, what they used to think and about what men and women can do when we are talking about gender equality. You don't think the same. And going forward, 30 years down the line, probably the viewpoint is completely different. So in other words, do you think these stereotypes, perceptions change over time?
Yeah, surely, ma'am. This stereotype situation will be definitely changed, and we are experiencing presently now. Most of the women, are coming forward to be as active politicians and active professionals.
Yeah. Yeah, but there are people here who still say that women are more sensitive, so they are more suited
not at all, not at all, not
for a nurse's job. Anyway,
yes, they are,
okay, thank you, thank
they
you,
are
thank you, thank you, thank you
according
so
to this
much.
speaker. Anyway, okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so the next question is why? What are some of the common perceptions, views towards men and women exist in your school and home? Let's hear that. Okay, we talked about jobs. Anything else besides jobs?
So I will ask Ramya, maybe you'd like to put your hand up. Do you want to unmute yourself and speak?
So answering all the questions together, we just covered this in the last unit that I made coincidentally. We took up an excerpt from *Sapiens*, which says that a peon.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Sorry, we can't hear you. So you'll have to type in the chat box. I apologize. Maybe somebody else, Becky.
Yeah. Okay. So I think maybe there might be more than one person with their microphone on mute. We'll try again. So,
could you please mute your mic, Garima? That'll be great. Thank you.
And shall I?
Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Hello?
I think we'll have to mute everybody for a minute.
So I've muted everyone, and I now request one person, and that one person is Savita. With your hand up, Savita, do you want to unmute yourself and speak?
Okay, yes, Yamini, that's another perception. Men are strong and women are weak. That's true, that exists, as sad as it is, but it exists. Yes, Sarita?
Okay, let's go to Bhavna.
Yes, Bhavna.
Yeah, so hi, Kamini. In schools, I would like to mention, probably taking forward from what you just read in the chat, men are strong and women are weak. That's one perception, which is why a lot of the times we ask boys to help us with shifting furnitures or carrying some notebooks. But also the other way around, there is something called the secretary effect, which says that most of the time we assume that women or girls in schools are good note takers and good organizers of things. So that task of taking notes or organizing an event in the school is by default thrust upon women, whether they are open to it or not. So that's both sides of the story, really. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bhavna. Yes, very, very true. So somebody's saying girls don't drive well. I'm sure a lot of men here will agree in private, but openly will disagree. I am sure. So yes, that's a perception. So there are a whole lot of them, and I think we need to bring these discussions to the fore. We need to bring these discussions to the fore. We need to talk about these things to our students as we see appropriate. And yes, I 100% disagree that women are bad drivers, but my statement was more for men who may be being politically correct in saying this. But anyway, okay, so now thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. How would you these questions to your classroom? Let's say you could take these to your senior school students, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. But you need to have these discussions if you have to have these discussions with junior students, grade 6, grade 5. How would you adapt these? And not just about gender equality, any SDG. Yeah. Can anyone give me an example? What kind of discussions? What kind of questions? So Manpreet, yes, but I want you to illustrate it with an example. Ramya, yes, let's hear it from you. Ramya, unmute and tell us.
Good evening, everyone. My concept regarding gender equality or any sort of a topic that should be discussed in a class, that should be in the form of performing any skit as well as individual role play, giving them a topic where they can discuss their own stories as well as communicate with the perception, like, okay, I have to find the solution for it, and that should definitely bring out a change in this individual society where they are belonging to. So that will be the form, like that it will be like concentrating on the smaller aspect, but it can bring out a bigger change.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm sure you can think of a lot of ways in which you can adapt the topic to the level of your students so that it makes sense to them. I think that's the key thing. So what was the theme of the demonstration lesson? Easy enough? What were we discussing? In the chat box? Role between Earthling and a Martian, each defending the living conditions on their planet. Yes, that would be a good one for climate change. Yes. So what was the demonstration? Gender inequality, disparity. Yes. How would you integrate SDGs? So as Anandita, as a lot of people said, they talked about health and well-being, talking about inequalities that exist. So which could be about food, which could be about the internet, which could be about anything else. It could be about saving water. And I'm sure there are lots of opportunities in your textbook which exist, which you need to capitalize on and see what SDG does that relate to, and bring that in. You'll have to plan a little bit. It won't be off the cuff. You'll have to begin with, you'll have to plan a little bit, and we'll talk a bit about challenges in a second. And I'm sure you have discussed these kind of issues, or if you haven't, I strongly recommend that you discuss these kind of issues in your classroom. So you're right, we explored SDG 5, which is about gender equality. It raises, this particular demonstration lesson raises awareness of gendered role job titles, frees their imagination, aspirations, as from a young child, the children are fed into this belief that you can be a pilot, but a boy, but a girl, maybe, they can't even see that dream of being who they want. So just like this, the session that I demonstrated, just like this, there are hundreds of lesson plans that you can access and take them to your classroom. You don't have to think how I can do it. And Payal, if you can post the link to the publication in the chat, please. This is how you can do it. And it has 22 chapters. It has God knows how many lesson plans according to language level. So if students are low level, A1, A2, if they're mid-level, B1, higher would be B2 and above. So you'll find all of these lesson plans, and the one I demonstrated is from this publication. It's a beautiful, beautiful, resourceful book. Please go through it. I'm sure you will find it very, very useful. Now, what are some of the challenges that we can face in the classroom? So first idea I thought was starting with something familiar and relatable. So not taking something too difficult. So to say that to a grade 6 student, what do you know about climate change? They'd be staring blankly at you. But if you talk to them about, you know, how can you save water? Do you let the tap running when you brush your teeth? Something like that, which would be relatable. So think about how you can make the topic familiar and relatable, rather than just taking things to the classroom as a big label and discussing things. So that's, any other challenges do you think could be there? Any other challenges do you think could be there? Could you type in the chat box, please? No, so animal extinction is a topic. What are the challenges you can face? Anxiety, by who? The teacher or the students? Bhavna. Individual differences, yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, here's another one. Looking for opportunities in the textbook to integrate these issues. Look at the publication, see an interest. So look at the publication, see what interests you, see if you can integrate that with your textbook. Time management is one, because you have a syllabus to cover, of course. So all those things, absolutely. Inequality in textbooks, yes, that exists. So they need to be reviewed from a equality, diversity and inclusion perspective when they are published, certainly. The other thing is pitching the task at the right level, not making it too easy, not making it too difficult. Providing resources that students will need. So if you want to set up a debate, you need to prep the students with resources. When I say resources, what kind of language will they need to debate? So giving opinion, agreeing or disagreeing, also being able to critically think about an issue. So making teams for and against, things like that. So you need to think about the kind of scaffolding or support that you will need to provide to the students in doing a task, whatever task you set up. So setting up the task is not enough. You also need to ensure that students are well supported to do the task. And again, you mentioned so many other challenges. So I'm sure you are the best judge of your class, and you know the level of your students, and you know best how you can solve those challenges, or find solutions to these challenges. Absolutely. So that kind of brings us almost to the end. The floor is open now for anybody to ask me any questions.
If you have any questions for Kamini, please put them in the chat box.
Thank you, Kamini. We will now take questions. We will only take questions about the topic. If you have any questions related to the feedback form or certificate, we will respond to this at 4 p.m. Thank you. We'll enable mics, and please raise your hand if you have a question for Kamini. Over to you, Becky.
Sure, great. Okay. So we've got a few hands raised. Let me allow mics. Okay. So let's start with someone we went up. So Jagjit, do you want to ask your question first? And to unmute yourself. Okay, let's go to Anubhav.
Hi, ma'am. Hello. Yeah, good evening.
Hello. Okay, let's start with Anubhav, and then we'll go to Sabita next. So Sabita, please mute yourself.
Yeah, ma'am. I have a challenge as a parent.
Okay, so Anubhav, do you want to go first, and then we'll come to Sabita?
Yeah. So, ma'am, my question was, is it not a question? It's just a suggestion, like what we can do. When we are talking about these SDG goal implementation in the classroom, what we can do is probably use one goal implementation in one classroom. For example, for grade 1 student, we can use the goal as clean water and sanitation and include those skills in our classroom in each lesson or lesson plan, so that we cover the challenges while teaching the SDG goals in our classroom. So that if you can give me a response in this, like whether this is possible or doable.
It is absolutely possible. Like, let's say you focus on an SDG. Okay, probably one lesson would not be enough. So you'd have to do a series of lessons on a particular topic in addition to what you are covering in the syllabus. So let's look at this as a part of the syllabus and not something separate that you have to make an effort to bring in, because while students are doing these tasks, I mean, they are still enhancing their English ability. It's just a different context. And in the process, they're becoming more aware of those issues and contribute to achieving these. So at home, if the mother, or not the mother, or anybody or let's say the younger brother or sister has left the lights on in different rooms without being there, if they're aware of all this, they will take action at home, and this is how they contribute.
And I guess, ma'am, we can also add this in the vision of the classroom, what we see the classroom in the next 12 years. We can probably add those, and in 12 years at least they'll be clear with 12 concepts of SDG goals, and even if they implement one of them in their real life, that is, I guess, an achievement for us as a teacher.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, thank you, Vishnu. Thank you so much. Sorry, you're not Vishnu, but thank you for sharing your suggestion. Very, very valuable and very useful. Anybody else? Any other questions?
So next up, we said Sapita could go next. If you want to unmute yourself, Sapita.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. I have a challenge with the students, my class students' parents, to deal with such challenges. I keep integrating many things with my classroom teaching. Still, I have some challenges which are faced when children are carried those subject matter to their homes. They also face some challenges from their parents' side. How would I convince them?
So you have your parent-teacher meeting every quarter or every 2 months. I don't know how it works in your school. So next time there is a parent-teacher meeting in your school. So maybe you could have a little presentation, because all parents, they are asked to come to the school, let's say from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So everybody will not come at the same time. But let's say after every hour and a half, when you have a few parents, after you finish talking to them about their child's progress, you can spend 10 minutes telling them this is what you are planning and that's why you are planning. So the point is, you need to get a buy-in from the parents and inform them why you are doing what you're doing. And once you do that, then their apprehension or whatever concern they might have disappears, because now they are informed of why you are doing what you're doing. So you need to get a buy-in from them, and you need to look for an opportunity to convey what is it that you are doing, rather than coming as a surprise. So I think that would be a good idea.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks so much.
Yeah. One last question, just one more, Becky.
Yeah, there are no questions in the chat, so we'll take one more from someone putting their hand up. So Nazima, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question, Nazima? Nazima Andrum Fatula.
Sarita, we'll give you the feedback form. It's not 4 o'clock yet. Please be a little patient. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Shams. Do you want to try unmuting yourself, Shams, and you can ask your question?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a question. I was just, the last gentleman who was talking about, how, we can integrate in our school. Myself, we integrate in the curriculum, especially with the science and the social studies topics, even with math. Okay. English. So I can give you one example, like when we were teaching about water. for primary, junior. I am an academic head for primary. So we started with a video of, this 0-day water, the problem in Africa. Then we actually took our children to the nearby lake to clean when it was dry before the monsoon. They cleaned the whole lake, and now at present the lake is full of water. So what is the importance of water? What are the problems, social problems? We related it to, the UN SDG, and then we took them practically doing doing it, learning by doing. Similarly, I mean, every topic I can give you, like, when we were teaching math, for example, the divisibility rules, the teacher showed a small clip on extinct animals. Okay. And then she has given, drew the pause. She made a sheet where she put numbers, how many number of, say, dodos extinct, like that, animals, and then divisibility rule they have to apply, and whether these numbers are divisible by 3, by 2, they did it. So with math, we integrated this and related it to UN SDGs.
Nice.
That's
very
how
nice.
we are integrating it in the classroom.
So I'll just thank you, and I'll end this by saying that it is not difficult to take all these things not only to your English classroom, your maths and science and social studies sessions as well. All you need to do is be a little more open to bring in other things into the classroom and spend a little time planning it. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Great meeting you all. Thank you for all your comments in the chat, for your contribution in the session. I really enjoyed, and I hope you will turn up for the next session, which is on climate change, which Becky is doing. I think it's on 11th, Becky, 11th of November?
We have got one on the 11th of November, but the next session is on Monday. On Monday at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
I will be doing one related to climate change.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Thank you so much. So I'm going to stop presenting now.
Thank you, Kamini.
Thank you.